Hey folks, welcome back. Today is Wednesday, September the 18th, and we are back with another edition of 5 Minute Football. Today we are going to be talking about the Texas Longhorns. They, of course, are one of the more polarizing brands in college football. You either love them if you're in the state of Texas, or kind of don't think a whole lot about them if you're anywhere else, and you absolutely hate them if you're in College Station or if you are in Oklahoma. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Longhorns today. Now, for years, the running joke has been, is Texas back? We've seen the memes. Every time they'd win, their fans would say, okay, this is it. And then they'd lose the next week. And a lot of the horns down signs or a lot of the not back things would start up. And it would be another disappointing season in Austin. And they have been kind of swimming, looking for back to respectability. And Charlie Strong and Tom Herman were not able to get it done. I know that a lot was made when those guys were hired, that they thought young, innovative guys who could really get it going again. Neither one really did a whole lot while they were there. And then when they brought in Steve Sarkisian prior to 2021, the thought was again, okay, this guy's been kind of average in stops at Washington and USC. He had personal problems that actually led to his dismissal at USC 5 games into the season. And there just wasn't a whole lot of, I guess, pizzazz in the hire. A lot of, now, at one point, he seemed like he was a rising star in the profession, but those personal issues sort of derailed that. And so when he was brought in to the 40 acres, it did not seem like it was a huge hit with the Longhorns faithful. I do think a lot of people in the college football world who covered the sport thought that it was sort of a bold hire, even though he didn't have a lot of experience. He had an innovative mind. He was a great offensive guy and a quarterback guru. And so people inside the sport thought it was a pretty good hire, but the fans had to be won over. And one of the big problems was he was a California guy. He was not a Texas native. You see it at Ohio State. You see it at Oklahoma. You see it at a lot of the really dyed in the wool blue blood programs. They want a native son. They want someone who understands the culture and the passion of the high schools and the traditions of the university. And Sark didn't really have any of that. So they wondered, okay, how's this guy going to recruit? How is he going to instill that Texas pride into the program when he's never really experienced it? Well, that was definitely a legitimate question. But all he did was he hit the ground running on the recruiting trail, and all three of his classes have been top 10, and the last two have actually been top 5. The big thing he's done, Herman recruited okay. It wasn't lights out, but it wasn't bad. But Sark has really upped it a notch, and he was number 4 last year. Texas was 4th last year in recruiting. But the big thing he's done is he's been able to close on the 5-star talents. Texas signed 4 5-star kids last year based on the 247 Sports composite rankings. And that's as many as Herman signed in his entire 3-year tenure. So the talent has definitely been boosted, but along with the roster boost has been a culture boost. Sark works as hard as the players do, and he holds himself accountable, and that is paramount for a program if the players are going to buy into what you're selling. If you're doing stuff and you're not holding yourself accountable, but you're holding them accountable, they're going to think you're a phony. They're going to think that you're just sort of in it for the money and that you are not really someone to be trusted, and they're probably not going to play as hard for you as they would for someone else. But Sark doesn't have any of that. The players said almost from the beginning that he changed the standard. He was accountable and he held them accountable, and they respected that he treated them like adults and that he held himself to the same standard that he held them. So Texas definitely, with their appearance last year in the college football playoff, it was another step toward the blue blood coming back to prominence. And it wouldn't be a shock if they make that journey again this year. Now they are dealing with a little bit of an injury to their star quarterback Quinn Ewers. Probably not a big deal since Arch Manning is in waiting, and he played great last week. And the one thing Sark is going to make sure that doesn't happen, this could become a circus with all of the recruiting hype that surrounded Manning and just the name alone. It could turn into fiasco. He is not going to let that happen. He's going to keep everyone on an even keel. And you can bet that Texas will just go about its business this week. We're not going to know a whole lot about them probably until the middle of October when they have back-to-back games with their rival Oklahoma, and then they face Georgia. Now, if they win those, it's a pretty easy path back to the college football playoff. If they lose one or both, though, then things can get dicey, and we'll really see what they have. But I don't think Texas is just going to go away, at least not under Sark's leadership, because he has a program now, not just a team. And that program is one of the best in all of college football. Like it or not, Texas is indeed back, and it will be for the foreseeable future.